let me explain. When you have your cores, now you're rotating your cores with different systems, with different means, motors or whatever. Go back, and if you remember, I don't have my camera, otherwise I would have shown you. If you remember when we put the ring magnets near to each other, one magnet moves when you bring the other closer. If you could hold the magnet in its position and you bring it close, the magnet starts rotating. This is something none of you understood, and I repeat it in different shape or form. Then when that comes, you have no motors. This is how the speed of the rotation of the planet is dictated. We don't see any motors to starting anything. Is the magnetic gravitational positioning of one in respect to the other which decides and dictates the speed of the rotation. Now you created the rotation. Then this rotation itself creates field pressure on the plasma of the hydrogen which you want to travel. It's the way you charge it. When you look at in the nuclear atomic structure, you look at the proton and electron, and we call it the bandwidth, which the electron moves. If you look at it, this reason for its rotation is not only coming closer and going away, because the compression on the field strength creates its rotation and the motion. Then at this point is where it releases its energy. At this point is the maximum is given, it comes back to collect more. This is never understood by the world of physics, and this is where we call it the bandwidth, and that's it. It's not. It's that this point which creates its rotation throws it away, and then it comes back and it needs more to receive from the gravitational. Here it has more gravity, here it has more magnetic field in respect to the proton. So your problem is the positioning of your reactors. These reactors have been fixed by fields, and you want to create a condition. You have to be able to bring it to the point that it creates rotation in the plasma without the motors. I've done that with demonstration very recently. I have made system to show it differently. So you are hoping by rotating. Rotation is a physical entity. There is a limit you can put by rotation. Now you have to create magnetic field compression, and you're not creating it. That's why your plasma doesn't open.
Okay, that makes sense. So
you have reached, you have a, if you take your cores, just fix your cores on the, as they are, but leave them loose enough. But you create a condition of rotation in one, and then you'll see the others are rotating. We've seen this. If you look at those MAGRAV units, which the box where the gases were rotating 2 or 3 years ago, people were showing. Nobody understood. When you get a gas in your hand, and you see a gas is moving to the top, and a bottom gas still there, especially when you produce zinc oxide and CO2, zinc moves up. If you introduce slightly another material next to this, you start seeing your zinc rotating. Because the field pressure between these two pushes field release towards this. And nobody has understood. We don't need motors to create rotation of the cores, but you're looking at the physical rotation, but there's a limit. 2,500 RPM is the maximum. Maybe 3,000. Then you have to go into the essence of rotation of the fields within the GANs. We've shown this many times. This is how we managed to create with a constant. We didn't change the speed of rotation. We just built up, and we went to 129 Tesla. This should have been understood 2 years, 3 years ago, and nobody has understood this. Then, when you go in that level, the essence of the emotion becomes controller of it. Then you can control the speed of rotation by your emotion, because you come to the strength because you created this material and you always carried some amino acid in it through the control of the man. Very simple. You fix your reactors and you're trying to compress. You go to 100,000 RPM. It doesn't make any difference because you are not creating